to my lunch. I very much appreciate it. I just want to give a brief outline of why I'm running and basically some of the issues that I'll be trying to tackle. I'm not saying like I'm going to be this great white hope and end all ills and cure everything. Look, I'll say it. Thanks very much.
Don't underestimate yourself.
Look, it's very simple. I'm very ambitious for our area. We've great possibilities. In order to harness them, we have to create the conditions for them. And I suppose one of the key things is infrastructure. Like, we have to have broadband, we have to have super fast broadband, we have to have e-fibre, what Eircom are providing. It's 40 times faster than our existing broadband. And if we want to be getting in multinationals into the domain, into the racecourse road in Roscommon, or indeed indigenous companies setting up that are going to serve foreign markets, we have to have that. It's a basic requirement. Another thing, and it's much, I suppose in Castlerea, it's well publicised for the last 4 years, water. It's the number one thing. Any company looking into an area looks at the water quality and the supply, that there's no problem. There's no problem with the supply. We have any amount of water, but drinkable water is a huge problem. And I've been working on that for the last 3 years on the council and trying to get it rectified and get it so that we have long-term security of a clean water supply. I know I sound like somebody probably from the third world talking about water, but that's how it is in our area. It comes from many, many years of underinvestment. I suppose another thing companies coming in look for is the leisure. What's there for their staff members? What's going to keep their staff happy? And what's going to keep them working with them? And you have to look at the leisure facilities. I've worked on Castlerea swimming pool. When I joined the council, the proposal was to close Castlerea swimming pool. And it's down on writing, there's been reams written about it. But from that point where they recommended that the budget for the year would be 40,000, I've increased it to 80,000 this year. And that was no mean feat. I've worked with the GAA club. In 2009 I was chairman. We won the Fahy Cup, the county senior title. I can't claim credit for that, but I was chairman of the club. But since then I'm treasurer this year, and we've embarked on a new development where we've acquired 3.5 acres of land on a long-term lease, and we're developing a second pitch because we have over 16 teams trying to train on one pitch. So that development is very welcome, and there's currently a draw with annual lotto tickets of €90. So, like, we ask people to support that. I've worked as a member of the Community Play School Committee. The Community Play School was sort of under threat because it was getting reports the last 3 to 4 years. One of the requirements was that you have to have an outdoor playground. So they were very limited in land availability for them, and I managed to get them a lease on a piece of, well, it was waste ground really at the back of the play school from the council, and thanks to the council for providing that on a lease. I think it's €10 a year or something. It's very, very small, and the play school committee have developed a fully up-to-date modern playground in there, and it's there for anyone to see, and it will ensure that the play school remains there for the next 30 years or so. In relation to industry, I've alluded there already too, where we have plenty of land. We have a land bank. The county council has a land bank in Roscommon on the Racecourse Road. They have a land bank in the Domain, where the ITA industrial estate is, and it's all ready to go. We have land in Monksland, in Athlone. There's land just outside of Boyle. What I'd say specifically to our town here in Castlerea, I worked on the town area development plan, and one of the main provisions that we allow for a large retail development, and this is in order that we would get more people from the surrounding towns to come into Castlerea, you know, go to the eye-catching store, we'd say a Tesco, a Dunn's, a Penny's, a Heaton's, whatever it may be, and that they come and use all of the other facilities, shops and services that we have. and it would help us to build our town to be a better place. Under the new Local Government Act that has been passed into law, it's proposed to set up, and in Roscommon again we're ahead of the curve, we've already set up our local community development committee, and that is to drive economic development in our county. And what we're trying to do is that we have all of the facilities available for any business that wants to set up, or any business that, we'll say, the IDA introduced to Roscommon, that there's facilities for them to just go, that it's all ready. From 2006 until 2012, there wasn't a single site visit by the IDA in County Roscommon. And once it was raised, I raised it in 2013 when I became aware of it, and along with others. And now in 2013 there was 6 visits, which is the last available, and we've had 1 success, which is Jazz Pharmaceuticals in Monksland. When I got onto the council, it took me maybe a few months, 6 months, to get the hang of it and what's going on, and you know, things sort of seem to be flying around the place, and you're trying to get control over something and over your role and that. But eventually, once I got my feet, I found you needed to be chair of an SPC, a Strategic Policy Committee, which in turn gave you a seat on the Corporate Policy Group, which is the Budget Committee. Castlerea and Ballahadreen had no representative on that Budget Committee. As it is now in the new area, Castlerea and Roscommon have only one, which is myself. Through that, being on that committee, I was able to get that funding for the swimming pool. When Phil Hogan came with cuts of 436,000 because of the reduced collection on the household charge, Castlerea only had to suffer 30,000 of the cut. Now, it was a lot for us to suffer, but other areas got hit for 100,000, 150,000. By being on the Corporate Policy Group, I ensured that no premises that is vacant will be hit with rates this year, even though it's in the new Act. It's optional, and we have opted not to do it. And hopefully, if I'm back there next year, we'll opt again not to do it, because I think it's a very unfair tax. While on the Corporate Policy Group, we had land loans on all of those lands I've mentioned, totaling 8 million, which we paid for by overdraft. Very simple solution. I got the council to change it to a loan, and we saved over 400,000 per year in interest. Just on local things that I'm involved in, I was previously chair of the GA, I'm currently treasurer. I'm a member of the Community Play School Committee. In the past I've been secretary of the Agricultural Show, and that is the biggest day in the towns here. That's the day that the most people are in town, and we should never lose sight of that fact, that agriculture is at the backbone of our community. I'm treasurer of the defibrillator group and a founder member of it. We have 4 defibrillators strategically placed around the town, and within the next month we'll have a 5th one, hopefully down in Ballindrimley. We have challenges ahead. We need strong representatives, and I pledge to you that I will lead the way and try my level best for you. So on the 23rd of May, please vote number 1, John Murphy. Thank you.